Ladies and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio. With your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
All right, welcome to Gamertag Radio episode 1044. This is your host, Danny, and yes, I'm back here on GTR. And also joining me for this episode of GTR, we have Parris. What's going on, Parris? What's up?
What is going on, man? How you doing?
Good. Lot better than the past few days, but everything is good, man. Just doing my thing over here in New York. How's everything? The West Coast?
Just laying low, man. You know we're in this crazy COVID world, but it's been a crazy week, as you already know.
I know. Congratulations, getting a lot of great feedback about your Cyberpunk 2077 content, which I know you talked about this during the last episode, but I wasn't on, so I have to say this.
No, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it was good. Great job. Really enjoyed the IGN post show and also pre show. Overall, it was really good.
Can I say one thing on that? So it's wild to me. So like I'm watching YouTube the last couple of days, and IGN's doing their summer gaming stuff, and they're having like these other shows or whatever, and I'm just watching them, and then they'll talk about something about Cyberpunk, and then they'll bring my name up. Oh yeah, and then Paris on the post show said blah 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 blah, and I'm like, oh!
Yeah,
it's just crazy to hear.
Yeah, I mean, we always say this, like you never know who's watching, who's listening. I mean, it's going around, so it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. And here's a huge difference too, is that you were the only indie podcaster there, I think. Am I right? Out of all
that I can tell. I mean, and I talked about this. I know we should be talking about the other thing, but just real quick on this.
Yeah.
Like RX, obviously Skill Up. These are big YouTubers. We're talking millions of subscribers. So of course they're going to get access. But the rest that I could tell are there were some Polish YouTubers, and then the typical the IGNs, the GameSpots of the world had access, and then little old me. So that's why again I thanked you, and I thank CD Projekt Red for having faith in me and allowing me the opportunity, because, they didn't have to do that. I would say statistically, my quote unquote numbers didn't justify it, but they had enough trust in me. And so I'm very appreciative of that.
All right, cool. Head over to gamertagradio.com and listen to our past episodes. You could also go to any podcast app, just search for Gamertag Radio, and we're there. Subscribe, follow us, and also post a review. If you would like to be part of Fan Mail, this is how you can contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, originally, during the last episode, I sent Paris a good 7 or 8 voice messages from people that wanted to ask questions for the show. But the conversation was so long between P and Paris about The Last of Us Part 2 and Cyberpunk that there was no time for them to do fan mail. So hopefully, the next episode, once we come back, maybe we could do that, Paris, right? We could do like a, fan mail edition. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me touch on one thing really quick with The Last of Us 2, because I got some feedback on Twitter that people were, I guess, disappointed that I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I tried to explain why without spoiling the experience for anyone that has not played it. And I know some people are asking about, hey, are you going to do a spoiler cast at some point where you kind of go in depth on that? Yes, I'm just not committing to when. It may be a little further down the road. People listen to this now, I guess I can say it. I am reviewing Ghost of Tsushima. So, that was courtesy of PlayStation. So thank them for sending over that review code. That review will be out on July 14th. So look for that then. But when it comes to The Last of Us 2, I don't want to just say, I tried to be like, it sucks. I tried to explain why, because it didn't suck. It just, I didn't like the direction the story went. If you played it, pretty sure you understand why. And for those that want me to go more in depth, am I excited to go more in depth about a game that I didn't necessarily enjoy? No, I'm not, just being upfront about it. But I do think there is a conversation that can be had with other people that have experienced it to get a different point of view. You know, unfortunately, Pete didn't play it, so he couldn't give me a differing point of view on there. So I know some people are a little disappointed in that, but just understand that it's an opinion. My word is not the gospel. I'm not telling you to not go play it. Absolutely go play it if you're a fan of the original and judge for yourself. That's really what it comes down to. So just wanted to clarify that before we go into the rest.
No, and look, you also, the listeners also have to understand that we always going to have different opinions, and there's going to be opinions that you as a listener might not agree or might not like. So, you know, that's Parris' opinion. I don't have a PlayStation 4 anymore. And Pete doesn't have it either. And he doesn't have the game. So the only person that could review this, because PlayStation gave that game to Parris. So he's the only one that reviewed it. He's okay with it. You know, people have to understand that all of us three, we all have different opinions. And there's going to be things that we're going to say that, of course, people are not going to agree with. So personally, Parris, I don't see anything wrong with what you did. I think you said the right thing from your, like, the way how you review games. And that's good. I think it's a good thing. I don't see that as a bad thing, because I think there's way too many people like hype and excited and saying 10s out of 10s. And look, a perfect example, when you talked about, you know, Cyberpunk, you talked about things that you didn't like. I think that's a good thing. You're being honest. And one of the things that we've been hearing this from many people from the industry that they talk to us is that we're fair. We're not one of those like, oh my God, I'm in the hype and everything is great. No, that to me is the wrong way, because what happened if there's a listener that you influence and they buy that game, and to them it's like, oh, I don't know, Parris kind of exaggerated. I don't know, I'm not really into this game. So at least you mentioned this. Buy the game, play it for yourself, and you're going to have an opinion also about that. There's nothing wrong about that at all, man. So I just want to say that very quick. You know what I'm saying? So No,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Before we go to the main theme of this episode, Parris, very quick, I know there was some news about Lockhart that supposedly Microsoft was going to announce this month in June, but the team decided to push this all the way to August, which personally, it makes a lot more sense for them to do that and just focus on the games also in July. And there's been some news about the specs of Lockhart and so on. So I know we were having this quick conversation before we started recording. You want to see something about that before we go to the main theme of the show?
Yeah. So if these quote unquote leaks / rumors are true, and the CPU in Lockhart is the same exact one that's in Series X, that's huge. It's huge, because everyone that's been concerned about, oh, this hardware is going to hold stuff back, absolutely not. Because what this means is this, and this is what happens in the PC world right now. It's going to be the CPUs are identical. The GPUs are downclocked, yes. The RAM is going to be less, yes. But the SSD is also the same. So what this means for a developer is they go in and they make a game that takes full advantage of the Series X, all the fast load times, everything that the CPU is going to provide. It can do all the fancy bells and whistles at 4K, no problem. All Lockhart is basically doing is saying, I have the same CPU, so there's no difference there. I can take advantage of all the same fast load times that you can have on the Series X, but just like in a PC, and this is the analogy I'm going to use. With my 2080 Ti, I can play The Witcher 3 in 4K at 60 frames. I have a SSD in there. It loads fast. It's beautiful. Because I can then have that same CPU and I have that same SSD, I can still play The Witcher 3 on a 2060 in 1080p at 60 frames. It still loads fast. Ultra settings, looks great. It's just you're just literally lowering the resolution. And the hardware can support it at 1080p with that GPU, or if I put the 2080 Ti, it can support it at 4K. if all that makes sense. So in Microsoft terms, what they're saying is, oh, Halo Infinite, 4K, ray tracing, 60 frames. Again, speculation. I know nothing because I don't want nobody tweeting that I said this. Let's just pretend Series X, Halo Infinite is going to be at 4K, 60 frames, ray tracing enabled. Gorgeous. Looks amazing. What Microsoft is telling you is Lockhart will have Halo Infinite at 1080p, ray tracing, 60 frames per second, fast loads. That's what they're telling you with this. So that takes away some of the worry of games are going to be held back because of the lower spec system. This was part of my worry. I fully admit it. But if they're going to have similar parts inside and it's the things that can be downgraded to support a lower resolution is really the only difference. And it also sounds like it won't have a disk drive in it. So it'll be all digital. I'm perfectly fine with Lockhart. Absolutely. But the one thing that Microsoft is going to have to do August or whenever they unveil it, when you announce that price, you need to also make it crystal clear. Lockhart is intended for our 1080p audience, for people that don't care about 4K. Series X is intended for our high end, I want the latest and greatest 4K audience. They just have to justify that. And then you price them accordingly. And then it makes more sense. All the games run the same. They all look the same. They just play at a different resolution, ultimately. If that's the case, do what you want, Microsoft. I'm good with Lockhart. And I totally get it. If this is true. But we won't find that out until August.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll find out also the price for this. So I think they're going to announce the Series X price first. And then they'll show Lockhart and then announce the price for that too. So yeah, I think it's going to be good. Win-win for everyone, man. So there you go.
Choice.
All right. It's all about choice. Remember that, Parris. I've been saying that for years. Choice.
You've been saying 12,000 SKUs. That's what you've been saying.
That's it. All right. So Ubisoft was kind enough to invite us to a private digital event, which, of course, there's no E3. So we have to get used to this whole digital events type thing. So during this digital event, we had no idea what they're going to show us. It was just the email was, we have a new project coming up, and I was like, Parris, what could it be? We were just trying to guess, and it was like we had a bad time guessing, put it that way. So we got to the event, and it was announced at the event. It was their new battle royale game called Hyperscape, and this is right now. We only tested the PC version, which Parris is going to be talking about hands-on in a few minutes here. But we also got to interview one of the, I believe, the creative producer.
Yeah, it was creative director.
Check.
Yes.
Yeah, about the game, and that was a great conversation about it. So now, Parris, I know there's a lot of battle royale games, right? A lot of those are very different. Like Apex is different than Fortnite. PUBG is totally different than everybody else, so that was the original from that one. So your thoughts about this Hyperscape, man, because I know you got some hands-on with the developers and a couple other people from the industry that were playing too, journalists from the media. So is it very, very different compared to all these other battle royale games that we've seen in the past, or what?
Yeah, so full disclosure here, almost wish Pete would have been the one that got a chance to have hands-on, because he plays a lot of, he plays Tarkov, he plays PUBG, he plays Apex and that kind of stuff. So I'm not huge into the Battle Royale. I've touched all the games that I'm talking about right now, so I do know the differences between them, and obviously Fortnite's the other one. To me, this is more Apex Legends than it is PUBG. Or Tarkov or anything like that. It is fast paced. It's squad based. We had 3 people in the squad. Clearly the battle royale rules are all in place. I mean, the zones shrink. The landmarks that are highly contested is where you're going to get the best loot from, and obviously you get to the end to get the crown. I do like their take on either you're last man standing or you're the person to hold the crown for at least 45 seconds to be determined the winner once you get to the end. That's a little different to kind of separated from the others. But the ping system that you have in Apex is here in this game. It's interesting. Like we're about to have a beta, should be coming out next week, I believe. And then they're, obviously going to lead up to the launch here later, summer 2020. It's going to be on all the consoles and PC. Shouldn't say all the consoles because they haven't confirmed the Switch version, but PlayStation 4, Xbox, and it'll be on PC. But it was fun. I mean, it's fun. If you're in the Battle Royale, this is a different version of it that is more close to Apex than anything. But I think I would at least suggest everyone jump into the beta and give it a try. If you're hardcore into Apex or you're hardcore into Fortnite or Tarkov, this may not necessarily be the game to break you away from it to now this is going to be your main thing to play. But, that's going to be up to the individual to see. But it's definitely not bad. It feels good. It feels good to play. The weapons feel good to use. And again, it's squad based. So if you are into Battle Royale, I would at least give it a try and judge it for yourself. That's kind of the best way I can put it.
Yeah. So what was the different modes that they had? They only had one mode, or they had two when you got to play it?
I just played in one mode. We talk about it in the interview. He talks about some of the different modes. I don't have my notes in front of me to go over the different ones that they're talking about right now. But I just did your standard. I can't even talk. I'm sorry. Your standard, last man standing squad based mode that you'll find in the other Battle Royale games.
Yeah, I know during the presentation they mentioned this, that let's say we're battling out Battle Royale with our squad and everybody else, right? And then I killed an opponent, and then this will be an opportunity for me. So let's say one of my teammates is not playing anymore because he died too in the game. This will be an opportunity for me to also revive him by using the person I just killed at that moment during the deathmatch Battle Royale, and I could bring my squad mate back into the game. So there's multiple unlimited times you could do this. It's not like you only could do this a certain amount of time. And I think that's gonna create some pretty cool, unique moments, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun too, man. Doing that by playing with your friends and everything. So
yeah, and that's the other thing. Cool. When you die, you basically can go into kind of a scout mode as well, and you can still communicate with your other squad mates and kind of give them a tactical heads up on certain things that are happening, while you're waiting to be revived. So, like I said, this leans more Apex more than anything. Compared to the other ones, and like I said, if you're down with Apex, you like Apex, I think you'll enjoy at least giving this a try.
Yeah. Did it feel like that was fast paced?
Yes.
Because I know there's certain games that was very slow, and Apex is a little faster. So
yeah, it's a little faster. It's not methodical. It's not PUBG where it's very slow, tactical. It is more fast paced. I mean, your matches are typically, you're not going to be in anything. I don't know. I would say it felt like the few I did, we were done like 20, 25 minutes per match. It wasn't too drawn out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was good. Now, one more thing. The thing that it showed us, Parris, during the presentation is there is going to be some Twitch integration where the viewers could also interact in the game. I think that's cool to do that type of thing. I know there were some games that was doing that with Mixer. I know that. I just can't remember off the top of the head which one of those, but I think that's awesome that the viewers are watching this. They could change the game overall while you're playing, and also this will be an opportunity for, let's say, a content creator that would like to invite some of their his or her community members to join in and be part of his squad. They could also send them invites through Twitch, which I think is a pretty cool thing.
Yes,
too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's kind of the future of these games. I mean, clearly streaming is here to stay with these audiences. So the more you can be interactive with them and have them be a part of what's going on as viewers is great. So it's good to see them doing this, and I fully expect to see more games take advantage of this too as we go into the next gen. Yeah,
and I originally thought that Stadia was going to start doing that at first, and I guess Ubisoft is going to be the first ones, So
you brought up the S word.
Yeah, I had to, because remember during the presentation of Stadia, they talked a lot about that, where you watch the stream and the content creator could invite their viewers to join the fun and be part of the game, but we haven't seen that yet from Stadia.
I think Stadia said a lot of things that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, they did. I just want to bring that up because that was the first time that I heard about the conversation, so
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's cool. It's free, of course. So, make sure for more information, just go to follow Ubisoft and their social media and everything. But I'm going to play into it right now. And once we come back, our final words. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right, Parris. So we have a cool interview here, man. We're going to be talking with the creative director of Hyperscape. Can't wait for this, man. We're going to have a great conversation, man. So can you introduce yourself, and we'll go from there, man.
So I'm JC. I'm the creative director on Hyperscape. I've been with Ubisoft for about 20 years, I think. So it's been a while.
Wow, that's a very long time. There you go. No, JC, man, first of all, thank you for taking your time to be on the show, man. So tell us a little bit about Hyperscape, because I know this is like the next battle royale for Ubisoft, and this is very different from other battle royales. So let's go from there, man.
So for us, Hyperscape is a brand new IP. It's a free-to-play battle royale, first-person point of view. We're introducing a full new world. It's set in the future in 2054, and it takes place in a virtual world, and mostly in the virtual environment of Neo Arcadia. So it's a virtual city where the battle takes place, and it really changes the pacing of battle with a lot of intense cat and mouse action.
You want to go, Parris?
Now, talking about Hyperscape, like you mentioned, that Neo Arcadia is the city. It's basically this virtual city that was created by Crystal Dimensions, to create this. So talk about the 9 districts that make up Neo Arcadia, and kind of get into the modern and the classic architecture and the urban playground that you're setting up for play here with Hyperscape.
For us, from the start, it was important that the city is the main backdrop, and that there's a lot of diversity in it. So all of the 9 districts have their own flavor, but in the middle of them, there's also 9 landmarks. So there's a giant factory, there's a museum, you have different types of buildings, etc. And each one of those is almost a full multiplayer map in which you can explore, find loot, and do this kind of stuff. And so it's really up to you to decide where you want to go into the map. The landmarks obviously have more opportunities for high-value loot. But they also come with more danger because other players are going to go there. So it's really tactical. We want the game to be very fast-paced, and that you take really quick, intense decision at every moment. So you'll be at some point you'll be running in the streets, hearing people jump on the rooftops. So you'll go into a building, you'll hear shots fired left and right. You can go on the rooftops, and you see the full city in front of you, and you will see people jumping around. So there's this always a frantic action going on, and a lot of navigation in the world.
Yeah, one thing that was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. I like this unique way that how, let's say you're in a squad, one of your squad members dies, and you can revive them once after you kill somebody in the battlefield, and that's like an advantage for you to bring them back, your squad member. So how many times can you do that? Is that like something like unlimited? Is there like a certain amount of times that you could do that, or what?
So again, one thing we really wanted to do with the game was to create an ongoing flow, not stop you every time. So you're in the action, you can, you take the split-second decisions, but when you get eliminated, we wanted this to continue. You continue to control your character, there's no cut, you are still able to help your team, and you can be brought back to life as many times as you can actually find a restore point and be brought to life. So there's downsides to being eliminated, because you lose your equipment, you have to restart from scratch in order to equip yourself. But if you manage to scrape around and be revived a certain amount of time until the end of the battle, you can actually come back, have an intense comeback, and win the battle at the end. So, and I think this is something we want. We want to make sure that the intensity of the battle keeps going as long as there's a player alive and they can save the day and create these cool stories, cool moments.
Now, going into this is a battle royale game, and we typically know the script on how these work. So obviously, you're going to come in on your personal pod and deploy into the city. obviously the whole point of Battle Royale is the best gear that you have to scavenge for are going to be in contested areas. But the thing that I want to focus on right here is you're going to have hacks in the game. These are going to be some game-changing abilities, both offensive, defensive, and for movement. So can you kind of talk a little more in depth about those and how they'll alter the gameplay while you're in a match?
Sure. So when we started building the game, one of the core pillars was really the notion of a game as a spectacle. We wanted to create a game where players could express themselves and show off a lot of different skills. So shooting is obviously an important skill. Navigation through the city, double jump, being able to navigate the environment was important. But we also wanted to give players a really cool toy that they could be more creative with. These are the hacks. There are special abilities that are on a relatively low cooldown, so they have a real impact on the battle. And basically, there are abilities that enable you to be a little creative, outsmart your opponents. So you have things like the mine that you can drop in places and that will chase enemy players. You can teleport, you can become invisible. And another aspect that is really important is the synergy with other players, your squad mates, I mean. And so choosing which hack you take, which hack your squad mates will take is also an important part of the battle because you can support each other with those.
Now, is there a reason why, because I know right now it's PC, is there a reason why, for those that are into the console stuff, there's no reason why that version is not coming out for the consoles? Is that something that's coming out after launch or in the summer or what? So
for now, we're really in the early stages of the game. We want to make sure we test it thoroughly and we get the feedback. Like obviously, it's a 100-player battle. We need a lot of feedback in order to make sure we tune the game and we make it good. So we want to go through our paces and make sure it's running on PC. We'll have an open beta also after the technical test. But the game is going to be released on PS4 and Xbox at the same time as on PC when we finally release it.
Mm. So let's kind of get into, again, typical Battle Royale. Obviously, the zones are going to be shrinking. You have a unique way of doing it in this game. So I want you to kind of talk about that. And then let's just lead that right into the end where you're going to have you're going to fight for the crown, for the crown at the end. So kind of talk about that as well.
Absolutely. So it's a spectacle. We want players to be on their toes, always in the action. And so players being able to adapt to a lot of situations was really important for us. And so we wanted to have a system that would always make you be a little bit stressed about what's the next zone that is going to close. And so we introduced the notion of decay. And basically, whole sectors of the map are going to collapse into the hyperscape over time. So for you as a player, what it means is you're running into a building and suddenly you will see triangles appearing on the walls or on the items in the building. And you know that this means that the timer has started. You need to get out of this area really quickly. And so over time, the triangles take more and more place and it becomes a wireframe and then the whole buildings completely disappear. From this point on, you will start to take damage, but also you're right in the open for snipers to pick you off or this kind of thing. So, there's a strong signal that you need to get out of this zone. And so the city gradually shrinks in completely different patterns every time. So you never know how the battle will go. And at the last sector, when there's only one left, we enter what we call the showdown. Basically, we spawn a crown in the middle of the last district, and the goal is for you to either survive as the last person alive or to pick up the crown, and you can go for what we call a crown victory. If you do so, you pick up the crown, you will become visible to all other players, and so you will have to defend the crown for 45 seconds. So there's also a lot of strategic choices at the end of the match and a lot of intensity because of this, because depending on which hacks you have equipped, it's going to be easier to take a strategy where you try to shoot the people who want to go for the crown, or you can decide that you go for the crown and your teammates will support you and help you escape. So that's how it works.
Yeah, I like the concept of getting also the viewers, like say for content creators that are actually streaming their games on Twitch. The viewers also can be part of this, right? I know there's like an interactive type feature there available for them. Can you talk about a little bit about that too?
Sure. So when we started really the game, one of the first thing we started with really literally was game as a spectacle. We noticed that more and more, we were playing games, but we were also watching a lot of people play games. So we wanted to create a game where viewers, streamers, and players would come together and interact in many ways. And so, again, we want the audience and the contenders to participate. So what the viewers will be able to do is through a Twitch extension, so an overlay on top of the stream, they will be able to vote on special events that are going to change the rule of battles for all the players, not just the streamer they're watching, but for all the players. Things like changing the gravity. So suddenly you're jumping in the air and you start to float really slowly. And you can reach places also. So now from the street level, it's easy to go to the rooftops, or infinite ammo, or like health pickups and this kind of thing. And so the viewers can participate in this way. We also want to acknowledge that, like, viewing, you're part of the ecosystem of the game. So at a later point, starting at open beta, we introduce the notion of progression for viewers. So if you have your account linked and you have the battle pass, you will be able to gain XP by watching your favorite streamer play, and you will unlock rewards as you progress. So you can learn new tactics from your streamers, you can earn a new outfit, and then you can go into the game, equip it, and try to replicate the tactics that you've learned. And finally, we also want to bring streamers and viewers together. So one of the things we're trying to push forward is the notion of a one-button invite. So as a streamer, you will be able to say, hey, if you're watching me, come join my squad, and a pop-up will appear on the extension, and the viewers just click a button and they are dropped into the match with their streamer. There's no manual labor to be done for this.
Cool. Okay, final question so we can wrap it up here. So the game is Hyperscape is looking to come out summer 2020, but before that, you are going to have a technical test and an open beta. So if you kind of touch on those really quick, as well as your post-launch plans that players can expect.
For us, it's the first phases. We're excited to get the game in the hands of the players right now. So it's going to start on July 2nd with the technical test. It's going to run for 6 days, and then we'll have more news for open beta on July 12th, based on how the technical test goes, obviously. We want to make sure everything is super solid before we go forward. And the goal with the game is really to make sure that this is a live environment and there's always something new for the players. So when we feel that the core experience is solid and tweaked, we'll launch the game, and then obviously we'll want to add content to it over time and make sure also the story comes together and the mysteries of the hyperscapes are revealed.
JC, so I have my final question. That I'm into this a lot. So is there going to be crossplay for this or not? Maybe in the future?
As we start, we have a cross progression. So whatever you unlocked on your account, you can use on any platform. And yes, we are looking into crossplay very quickly.
All right, very cool. Very cool to know, man. But now, JC, man, just want to say thank you for to be on the podcast, man, and hopefully everybody can check it out, man. For the PC first, then console in the future. So can't wait for that, man. Parris, that's your opportunity, man, to play the game first, man, then me. And then hopefully we'll play together in the future.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to this. This looks like a fun battle royale game, and I'm excited to jump in and check it out right now.
Yeah. Show your skills, man. Don't mess up, though, man. All right?
Absolutely.
All right, JC. So for more information, for those that would like to know more about the game, is there like a website people could check out or what?
I'm sorry about this. Yes, we will have websites and all the stuff.
Okay, well, there you go. All right.
We'll make sure you get it.
All right, cool.
I hope you guys have a lot of fun when you play the game later today.
All right, but thanks a lot,
Absolutely.
man.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Thanks a lot, man.
This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail at 786-2737-GTR.
All right, so I think that was a cool interview, Parris, right? Hyperscape, and hopefully we'll find out more later this year. So, any questions, hit us up on Twitter or Discord. By the way, our Discord is growing, so make sure to join. That's discord.gg/GTR. Go over there and talk to us. Talk to not only the whole GTR crew, but also just the community overall that they're there, man. So anything else, Parris?
No, I think that's it for this. I mean, Ubisoft they went ahead and confirmed that Ubisoft Forward, which will be their E3-esque event will be on July 12th. So I'm pretty sure we'll be live streaming that. So make sure people check that out, and we'll watch it all together. And I'm sure we'll see Hyperscape there and some other stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Yeah, we'll see. Any Splinter Cell? Maybe no. Yay.
I've given up trying to hope for that. That's basically that in Banjo-Kazooie. I'm just whatever. When you show it, I'll be excited. Until then, I'm not gonna hold my breath anymore.
Yeah, come on, Ubisoft. This is the right time. It's the right time to release this, man. Next gen, we'll see. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you once again for listening to Gamertag Radio, episode 1044. And you can find us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. Just go over there, follow us, subscribe, post a review. Or if you want, go directly to our website, gamertagradio.com. And you could also listen to our current and also past shows there. And binge it as much as you want. That will help us out a lot too. All right. So if you would like to be part of our fan mail episode, here's how you can contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. Until next time, this is Danny and also Parris. We're out. Take care, y'all. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.